We good?
Yeah,
You guys ready?
Point it a little bit more like at you. Yeah.
I think it might be on the wrong angle. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna have to tighten it down though.
There we go.
It's too bad we already had an intro because that was a great intro.
that was a great intro.
Just back and forth, and all you can hear is the mic rumbling around. All right, we good? Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 70 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. We got two new guests. The plane tickets are too expensive, so we have one actual guest and we have one figurative guest in the podcast. So, Sky, thanks for joining us. Doug, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and it's great being here.
You should have said yes.
Buddies. Hi, everybody. My name is Sky Chen. I'm from G2G Lighting, and I'm really appreciate that you guys invited me in this podcast.
Hey, so just a disclaimer: if you're listening on Spotify or you're listening on Apple Music or wherever, and you can't understand Sky, go to the YouTube. We'll put subtitles there.
So we'll explain all that.
Are we going to let Doug come on the show?
Oh, Doug, do you want to join us?
Ta-da!
For those of you that are listening on audio, if you've seen in the background of the old studio, we had this awesome Doug pillow that Doug sent us, and he used it in place of him for the start of this podcast.
I don't think Doug sent it to us. I think Sky sent it to
Yeah,
us.
it's only $29.99 if you guys want it. Want Doug, sleeping on the side every night. $29.99. $29.99. That's it. Okay.
Three payments of $9.99. But you do have to pay freight.
Oh, I guarantee you're going to pay freight.
Shipping and handling.
Yeah.
The handling fee is high because Sky packs them himself, so he charges a lot.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. If you
Premium
get that
pack.
pillow, the pillow feels great.
You got to move his mic maybe a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You can bring your mic back down now. It doesn't have to be up at the ceiling.
And then turn.
Yep.
There you go. You look good now.
Oh, that was so much smoother than when Sky just did it a second ago.
Yeah. You definitely have more experience with the microphone than Sky does.
This guy's not used to being recorded. Anyway, so Doug's been on before. If I did my job right, I would have those episode numbers on here, but I don't have them. So Doug's been on before talking about G2G. Sky is new. So Sky, you want to introduce who you are, what your role is with the company, and how long you've been making LEDs?
Well, my name is Sky Chen, and I'm the owner of G2G Lighting, and I've been in this industry for long enough. I would say more than 12 years, and that's and I own G2G in States, and also I own a factory. We manufacture LED modules and the flex for ourselves. So that's what I do. I stay here in States for 6 months and travel to China, stay in the factory for 6 months. So that's my life.
So what was the reason for starting G2G in the first place?
Well, I know I met somebody, and he's my tutor, and he's started up a company, and it's a fortune to help him when his company growing. And then I decided, say, hey, look, I think this is going to be a future of my life and then my career as well. So I said, okay, let's do myself. So that's why I get into this business back then as well. So that's how I get into the business.
So you knew somebody else that got into it, and you were like, yeah, this is going to take off.
He couldn't find anybody else, and you were the only one left?
No, I be honest with you, I do not have a lot of confidence at the beginning, but then I really appreciate that I mentioned his name, Jim Davis from Pioneer Sign Supply, and he brought me on board with a distributor, as a distribution, and then he referred me to you guys as well. And even now, he's not in this business anymore, but I still appreciate for that. Okay, so, and the funny part is when he first time come to my office, I only have a small square office for 500 square foot, and I tried to explain to him what I do and why it's better than anybody else. And he said, this is what he exactly word he told me later. He said, years later, he said, Scott, I don't know anything you said at that time, but I just want to give you a shot. The same thing here, if you guys don't understand me, don't worry about it. Just check this, subtitle in the YouTube, on the YouTube, and you see what I'm saying. But that's what exactly he said. He just trust me, at the first glance, I think, and so that's how start up the business,
Yeah, I mean, so the reason, I think the main reason on our side to do this episode right now is there's a lot of, with all the tariff situations going on, right? The only thing we hear about China in the news is usually not in a good light, not about the country themselves, but about like the products coming over, right? It's like, oh, it's coming from over there, right? And we've been very forward since United came out, right? That it's like, this is a product coming from China. Like, we're not trying to hide it, like maybe some other people are, but
yeah, I mean, we made the decision very early on that it's United by G2G. Like, we're basically saying, yeah, this is a private label, but other people are going to sell it, and we're going to put G2G's name on it too. So where our private label United comes from, and it comes from these guys right here. So and then why hide it? Everybody's going to figure it out anyways.
Yeah, twofold. One, yeah, they're going to find out, so we might as well tell them up front. But two, we already had the backbone of selling G2G and knowing that like we hadn't had any issues, right? So when we come out with a new product into the industry, everyone's gonna be like, okay, but like, can we trust it? Be like, well, I mean, we haven't had any issues in the time we've been selling it, so I don't see why we'd have issues now. So that's mainly kind of our goal here is with a lot of people being like, oh, it comes from China. There's a lot of products that we don't have another option really. I mean, there is some other options technically, but most of that stuff is coming from China anyways. So rather than work around it, we're just saying like, yep, we're getting it from China. That's where it's made. That's what we're dealing with. So kind of our goal here is to talk about why we made that decision, why we're still comfortable with that decision, and kind of what we see is like the future for G2G and LEDs on our side, even with the current tariff situation. So that's kind of my goal. Did you have anything to add to that?
No, I think we brought Sky on so you can see this is who makes it. It's his factory. That's who makes it. Mm-hmm. We're not hiding that fact, and we make a good product. We have had 0 failures, absolutely 0 failures, 0 returns, and it's been going almost a year. Are we coming up on it?
No, we're yeah, I would say
the year, yeah,
about a year.
About a year, and we've had 100% 0 returns, 0 failures.
Yeah, I had someone at the show ask me about it. They were looking at doing a big project, and their concern was it was not going to be accessible, right? They're like, once we put this up, like we can't get to it. Like we're like the modules, we're not gonna be able to see them, right? They were basically they're basically putting up an entire wall of LEDs, and then they were going to put ACM 2 inches from, so it's going to be halo lit, right?
Right.
But they're like, we're never going to be able to get to the LEDs again, right? They're way up on the wall. It's a huge display, and they're like, are they going to be fine? I'd be like, I can't sit here and tell you like, oh, 5 years from now, right, they're going to be perfect because we haven't been out 5 years. I said, but what I can tell you is we've sold a lot of them and not a single one of us came back, right? And it's like, this is, so on our end, I was like, I would whatever guarantee you need me to tell you to know that it's going to work. I was like, I'm as comfortable selling these as I am any other LED that you could possibly buy, all the way up to the very, very expensive ones.
Yep.
We've just had no issues with them at all.
And the United product comes from a pedigree, it's basically, the Ampro module that's been upgraded over time. And, the Ampro module has been around, what is it, like 9 years, maybe longer, 10 years, something like that. And it uses the same manufacturing principles. And the Ampro module has always been a strong product for us for a very long time. It was our premium module. The United product is what we would consider like an everyday grade product, something that's got quality, great pricing, things like that. And with G2G, we control the whole manufacturing process from design to build, from QC, all the way to the door of the customer. So I think, that's one thing that puts G2G, makes G2G different from everyone else is that we do produce the product that we make, right? I want
to say something here. The reason why I make decision to make the module by myself, okay? So everyone knows that most of LEDs come from China. I'm not denying this, right? And also, even that you buy it, you say, okay, we are not made in China, we're made in another country. But if you check the background, most of the owner is Chinese. Okay, so they moving the factory from China mainland to other countries and then manufacture there. But most of components still from China. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, so but however, then I would like to say something about this. So, like years ago, I have a big failure of LED modules. So it cost me almost $1 million to cover all the material and also label. It's a national project, okay? And it's taken me 5 years to go all over that, okay? I'm glad I didn't bankrupt, okay, during the time. That's the darkest time period I ever had. G2G probably go bankrupt because of that. However, we survived. Then that's the reason I said, okay, I cannot let something happen out of my control, okay? So that's why I start up my own factory, okay, and manufacture everything, most of the things, okay, I'm not saying everything, but most of the things are made in my factory, okay. I have a group team with almost like right now I have 8 engineers there, okay, checking every single step, okay. The QC control, I think we probably one of the most restrict, for QC in all the factories. Or every single batch of LED components need to be tested before they assembled on LEDs. So when you guys mentioned about why there's a United have zero failure, and not only United, but also other modules, we have zero failure, is because we know how to manufacture it. We speak LED language. That's what I want to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we speak sign language. Yeah.
We speak LED language.
I mean, he might not understand it, but he does.
Yeah. That's funny. Why? So you said if you look at the background of some of these other companies, they're being made in other countries, especially since tariffs came in right now. Magically LEDs that were coming from China are now coming from Vietnam or something over there. You're like, wow, that was funny. And in 2 weeks' time, all of a sudden it magically comes from another country. But why do you think, or why are all the LEDs currently being made in China? Why is that the case?
Because you have to think about you can, for example, if you want to make an LED, you have to make an LED. Talking about modules, okay? You need the LED components, okay? You need the wires. You need the circuit board. You need the factory who made the package, okay, for you. Or not only the box, but also the plastic package, right? And all this supply chain they have in certain area in China. So you can't get it overnight. Okay, for example, we are talking about overnight. We're talking about overnight, but you can get it overnight with lower cost. Unless you say, okay, if we move into another country, okay, you got to move in all supply chain to that other country to make the cost lower. Otherwise, you won't get a good module with this price. It probably like at least a triple or 4 times. That's one thing. The second thing is China have a lot of engineers every year. They graduate from college every year. Okay, they have a big population of engineer degree, engineering degree student graduated from college. So they were working for the factories. Okay, so we have the people who know all the process. Okay, it's not like other country we do not have a lot of engineers. Okay, they have to learn from the ground. But in China, they have people already know the electrical board, right? How to design this. So we have people there. Okay, and also you need workers working for injection modules. What are we talking about for the United? You need people working there 12 hours, sitting in front of the machine for 12 hours. Yes, we are working on something automatically manufactured at this moment. Okay, but still, for the injection modules, most module in this market is injection module. All right, you need people sitting there making every 30 seconds making 2 modules. Okay, so that's why you need workers willing to do that. Okay, so that's
people without ADHD is basically saying this. There's a lot less ADHD.
No, he's just saying you need workers
in China. There's a lot less ADHD. Yeah, I mean,
the people that
I'd be
actually
like,
want to work.
snap, oh, wait.
Yeah, you can now in my factory. You cannot just watching the have a cell phone. Once you go to work in the workshop, right? Work in the facility, you have to hand over all the cell phone to we keep in the closet, and you can take it later when it breaks. But you cannot, watch the cell phone and do the injection or other, process, because if you somebody there is not in my factory, it's the other factory. I know that they hurt their fingers, they crashed on their arms, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's places here
not paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing.
And there's places in the States that are the same way. A lot of the manufacturing, they can't have their phones or anything like that. That's why I don't work there, because how am I going to watch TikTok all day if I can't be on my phone all day?
That's true.
I'm going to miss some videos.
That's true.
You missed the memes.
Yeah.
So on the U.S. side of things, we kind of have I think the stereotype that's been spread around what we would call cheap Chinese products, right? It's kind of like it's coming from China. It's just like a cheap Chinese product, right? How does G2G kind of differentiate from that stereotype on our side?
So there's a 2 kind of cheap type products.
I don't know what he was going to say.
So it's fine. So I want to explain what's going on here. So you pay what you got. That's
you pay for what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll do the English version of it.
Okay, thanks.
We could have done it anyways on the screen.
All right. So there are some. I will put it this way: if I'm competitors, I have a competitors. They are selling the module with a low price. I want to be, more competitive than him. I will say, for 50 cents a module, I can do 45 cents or 40 cents. Then it's a bad competition, okay? And it happens, okay? It happens. So G2G is, we are not doing that, okay? We know, because as I said, I know LEDs, okay? I know what we have to take responsibility for what we made. That's what I say, or trying to say to here is, so the one you got it, okay? That means that the G2G do not make any profit. We still making profit, okay? But we trying to keep the profit in a certain level, okay, or percentage. On the other hand, as I said, most of those things happen is not because of the material itself. It's process of manufacturing. Okay, that again QC. You got to be paid 100% to the QC. And also what we select for material is restrict. We have rules for that. So that's we make we are not the module itself. I won't say the best in the market, but I will say one of the best in the market. That's what I'm going to tell you. And with cost efficiency and with, everything else.
Yeah, this is the thing too, Sky, right? I mean, you go to the Chinese market. I mean, their LED market and their quality of LEDs that they use there compared to here is different.
Totally
right?
different.
And you can totally find LED modules far less far inexpensive compared to what we produce. So
yeah. And you can see, we obviously, a lot of people come in here, they show us their LEDs, we look at them, and then we also see all the competition out there. And after you've seen a bunch and you've watched them light up, you can tell a lot of times by looking at it, okay, you use the cheapest components possible to make that. When it starts with the mold or however else you're going to put it together, we can tell the cheap ones right away. Like it's going to, where's the heat going to go? Mm-hmm. The heat's got to go somewhere. And if your little mold's only, I don't even know what that size would be, paper thin.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to put an LED in there and then you don't even have a lens on it. Okay, well, no.
Right.
But mine are 20 cents a piece.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But it's going to burn. And the second part is, where's the light going to go? Directly to the face, and you can see all those little dots. I can start calling out all the ones in Grand Rapids that you can see every single LED module behind the 6-inch face.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you need a lens or something, buddy. Like, it's terrible. Like, yeah, you just got 20 cents a piece, but your sign looks crappy.
Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I just want to take a minute to talk about Nakusa, the name behind our tape. Our tape's the #1 application tape out there, but they are more than just tape now. Nakusa has a full range of products out there. Their new one is called NextBond. This is a UV cured adhesive. Why does that matter? It's an eco-friendly and durable option, but comparable to most of the eco-friendly options, this is a cost-effective product. So if you're looking for an eco-friendly product or a durable product or just in general a good vinyl, NextBond is going to be the one for you. This is available at Wensco.com as well as all of their other products. So check it out at Wensco or reach out if you have any questions. Oh, and don't forget to use your Nakusa bucks. Have you heard about Metamark? Metamark is a company that sells premium graphic solutions for commercial and fleet signage. So whether that's walls or it's vehicles or it's tables or doors, we loved it so much we put it all over the podcast studio. So you can check it out on our videos or at Wensco.com. We've seen lately that now that we, are way more familiar with this business than we ever thought we would be, that there's not a billion factories making LEDs, right? A lot of them are coming from the same factories, right? So when you've already seen an LED come into the market and you know, like, oh, this is not a quality LED by any means. And then, 9 months later, a private label, a new brand LED comes up and you'd be like, this is the same module. Like, I can look at it and tell you this is exactly the same module that we saw 9 months ago, right?
Right.
And you just know, like, okay, so you went to a module that we already knew was cheap, but it also was not good. And now instead of selling it under this brand that it was selling under that everyone hates, you launch under a new one,
right?
But it looks the same. Like, it's
another thing I want to mention about it is, you can get the beta price. I will not say cheap, but beta price modules anywhere. Okay, even that in the same factory in China, they will make the same mold LEDs, but with different LEDs with different quantities. Another thing I want to mention is the US market is different from China market. So you cannot just buy something from China directly and use it in the US. Okay. The reason for that is we normally give like 7 to 10 years warranty for all the modules, right? Or sticks, whatever it is. But however, in China, the people only warranty for 1 year. That's it. So you cannot buy anything from there. Okay, I buy this module, so it looks good. Okay, even the brightness is good. White, okay, enough white. I bring this to States. I sell this, but they are not designed for 7 years, or 5 years, or 10 years using. Okay, that is not designed for that. Okay, so you have to. This is different G2G. G2G different from other company. We know the market here. We know people, which they are looking for. Okay, again, the warranty is a responsibility. Okay, that's why we design the module, we manufacture the module to fit for this market. So well, still you guys can buy. Sorry about this, but sign companies, if you still can buy the module directly from Alibaba or whatever, but those online, shop. But my suggestion is do not do that, because before you do that, you need to ask how many years you gave me the warranty. Okay, so that's something, and most of them won't give you, choose your warranty anyway. So that's my point. So the factories.
And are they giving that? Are they only giving the 1 year because that's how it's designed? If that makes sense, like they're knowing that, like, hey, in a year this is gonna, it's like when I buy, you buy like headphones, and they give you like a 3-month warranty, and then 97 days later they die, and you're like, huh. Seems like this warranty was tested out. They knew ahead of time, like, oh, we got a pretty good failure rate at 10 months, so let's cut it back.
Yeah, kind of like that, because business in China is a switch, really quickly. Okay, 1 year later, this business won't exist. Okay, so but in States, it's you have a shop there is running at least like 3-5 years, or even longer. Okay,
Yeah.
but in China, the turns of business, change of business on one location, probably pretty quick. Okay, it's not saying that they do not have a good, I would say a good company make the good module or good sign there. There is, but most of them, they will say, okay, I only get 1 year. That's it, because how intense the competition there for making sign. Put it another way, in China, they're not using modules anymore for most of the sign. They're using light tape. Okay, the reason for that is light tape without lens is so cheap. Okay, and they can even make like 2 inch and 1.5 inches telemeters.
Yeah,
and everything is saving.
I might need samples of that 1.5 inch. Because did you guys see those pan faces out here that Tyler's been working on for 1.5 years?
Oh, they're still not done.
They're not done yet?
Oh, I did just find.
They're 2 inch. Oh. They're literally 1.5 inch pan faces that we took off an old Subway, stripped them down, and we can't say what we put on them because it's patent infringing or whatever, the copyright infringing.
Oh yeah, we can't say what
copyright
we put on there.
The logos to put up in someone's barn. But yeah, I'll need 1.5 inch depth tape for those signs. They'll go in someone's barn.
Yeah, we have a perfect product for that.
If you're on audio,
I need
he's showing a demonstration here.
I need a few bags of that. These are
to that camera there so I can see it.
Yeah.
Hold it straight up. Hold it towards this camera right here.
This is not 1 year warranty, by the way. It's a 5-year warranty. Okay, and we are making this IPC7, so no soldering, and you can power directly on each 2 LEDs.
Okay, how big are those pan faces? We got to tell them how many feet I need. Those are
a lot. 26 feet.
2 4x16s, right?
I don't know. They're huge.
2 4x16 pan faces.
Okay,
I'll show it to you when we
we can do a layout, and I can donate this this light tape module for you guys, but I'm charging you for the shipping cost.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So people that want to know the inside joke, Sky sent me these samples right here that are in front of him. He sent me 2 of them in a box that I didn't ask for. Charge me shipping. Charge Wensco shipping. That's unbelievable. He's trying to get his money somewhere.
It's like having somebody place an order they didn't place. You're just like, oh no, you wanted them.
Then I found out after I talked to their shop,
your desire.
I found out Doug does this all the time for people, not us. From other companies. He's Next Day Doug.
That's a good job. Oh, Next Day Air too.
Yeah, Next Day Doug.
Next Day Doug.
That's funny. So turning from kind of manufacturing as a whole, so we just on our side just launched the 24 volt United.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, spandex. Where's the video?
I haven't seen the video
called
yet.
you out.
They might have one by the time this comes out. We do have a few weeks before it comes out, so they could have one by then. Who knows? But
I don't know.
But anyways, how is that?
They're gonna have to step it up. I mean, you did have a chainsaw, so
yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
Did you see the box was flying all over the place? Yeah. That's
some awesome special effects. I love
that's what it looked like in real time. Yeah, we can afford special effects. We got to do it ourselves.
Yep.
CGI, right?
Yeah, a bunch of little people throwing boxes in the background and stuff.
Yeah, it was Tyler effects is what it was.
Tyler effects.
Rick using the camera, Tyler throwing cardboard in the air.
And Tyler knows what it looks like because that's what his kids are at home, just throwing crap all over the place. Yeah, exactly. His kids are a complete menace, so like he knows exactly what it's like.
Ripping cardboard boxes all over the floor. Yeah, it's got that on my
Amazon, you know.
Amazon's their best friend. Yeah. They send toys all the time, not toys, cardboard boxes. That and bubble wrap, 2 favorite things. You don't even have to buy them anything. Anyways, we just came out with the 24 volt United. How is that any different than the 12 volt that we already had? And what's kind of the difference between those two, I guess?
About 12 volts.
Yeah.
You think so?
Well, that's what I'm guessing.
I mean, there's a few improvements, but it's, a small improvement on top of everyone's favorite 12 volt module, right? Which is the United 2 12 volt, 1.2 watt. By going to 24 volt, you get a few different increases in efficiency. Okay, so you get a little bit better pump of lumens per watt. So you get a little bit brighter module than the 12 volt version. But also the nice thing is you have the availability of those larger power supplies, right, that are class 2, which are the 96 watt, 24 volt power supplies. Now, with the increase from 12 volt to 24 volt, you also can run longer runs, because the higher the voltage, the further you can run voltage before resistance causes it to drop in voltage. So in terms of, you know, how many modules you can run on a single run, you can run with the United 24 volt module, you can run 40 modules in a single end, or you can do 80 modules on both ends. And so that's a nicer efficiency with that. Also, 24 volt is becoming more prevalent in the market. A lot of people have moved their sticks to that, right? So they're not using 12 volt sticks as much. We do have some customers who favor the 12 volt, but we've seen that a lot of customers have gone to that 24 volt. So this also kind of helps with their preference on that, so that they can keep all their systems 24 volt. But as a market as a whole, a lot of systems are moving from 12 to 24. And Scott, you want to talk a little more about that?
Well,
Are you awake, Sky?
yeah, I'm okay. Look, I will put it this way. Okay, I'm not. I think that's make a lot of sense using the sticks. Okay, by 24 volt. For modules, okay.
Just say it. 12 volts a better option. That's
will
why
say,
12 volts not going to, like, other people are getting rid of their 12 volt. I think that's a mistake. I think it's an error. I think 12 volts still needs to be around for those modules.
Well, for the sticks, 24 volt. For the modules, the people, they push you to buy 24 volt is letting you buy more.
Lean into your
inventories.
microphone.
That's what I'm going to say.
You just need to move it that way.
there you
Okay.
go.
Or pull it that way.
Okay,
There you go.
it's good. It's good. Okay,
Really good.
So that's what I'm saying. Okay, for some people, say the 24 volt is better. Agree, but disagree. Okay, that's one of my opinions. Okay, but however, because everybody is switching to 24 volt, G2G have 24 volt options. But for the sticks, 100% guarantee 24 volt is better than 12 volt, because you can put more sticks, okay, together, with one power supply. But for 12 volt, thinking about this, okay, you're using a 0.8 watts, 0.8 watt module, right? And then your LED is probably only 60 LED for the channelers. So you can use a 60 watt power supply for 12 volt. And then you still need you can use a 60 watt 24 volt power supply for that sign, but most people using 96 watts, right? Okay, what's the meaning of that? That's my question.
Your cost just went up.
Yeah,
24
the cost
Yeah, that's why I said. I
more.
still think 12 volts the right option for most applications except sticks. I mean,
I think that just comes down to looking at the jobs that you're currently doing and looking at how many of them you're ordering, multiple power supplies for.
Right.
Like if you're like, yeah, every job we do is 2-3 power supplies. I'm like, okay, 24 volts, sure. But if it's like one on average, 24 volts just going to be more hassle than it's worth for most of it. And I know a lot of people are looking at they're looking at their trucks, right? And they're just saying, okay, I'm just going to do one or the other, right? I'm either going to do 12 volt or I'm going to do 24 volt, right? I don't want to carry both sets of modules, both sets of power supplies. It's just more work.
do one or the other. Yeah, exactly right.
And if you look at it and most of your jobs are one power supply currently on 12 volt, if you move to 24 volt, everything's just going to get more expensive because you're going to pay more for those modules and power supplies, but you're not going to if you're not using the max on the power supply, your job is going to go up in price.
Yeah, I think definitely on some of the smaller jobs where you can use a single 60 watt, the 12 volt definitely has that benefit. Jumping up to a 96 watt is going to cost you a little bit more money. But once you get up to, if you are doing multiple power supplies in a sign, usually you'll save with the 24 volt system. Number one, you're mounting less power supplies, and most power supply boxes, like page boxes, they only accept like 2 power supplies per box. So you're going to save on conduit, you're going to save on junction boxes, things like that. So I think it does a little bit depend on like what your business is doing. Like if you're doing more multiple power supply jobs, the 24-volt system will probably save you money in the long run, in terms of installation cost as well as, the cost on the power supply. Because I will say that a 120-watt power supply is probably more expensive. Like a 12-volt is going to be more expensive than a 24-volt 96-watter. So, but the other benefit that's really nice about the 24-volt is also where are you putting these power supplies? Like if they're in the sign in the raceway, 12 volts great. You're not pushing that voltage very far. But if you do have it a little bit more remote, or you have to run more modules or longer runs, then 24 volts going to go a lot further than the 12-volt system. So that is one nice thing about the 24-volt system.
I think he likes 24 more than 12. That's not us, guy. He's not on our team anymore. We're going to throw him right off the team.
Well, I another thing I would like to say is, again, this is my personal view. I'm not saying that 24 volts is better. I think definitely there's a market for that, okay? But I have one thing I want to share with you guys. All the 24-volt system, the LED, like two die LED, they cannot do parallel. They have to be daisy chain. So the 12-volt system, for example, like United modules, okay, the LED is parallel, which means that if even one LED dead, another LED it won't be dead, okay? But 24-volt, you cannot do that unless from manufacturer side using 18-volt LEDs and do a parallel to design the module. Okay, so I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about a few years later. 5 years later, if you have a one LED die, you probably not notice that. But if you have one module die, then you will see a hotspot. Okay, that's from how I design the module side. That's why I think. Okay, again, all the 24-volt right now in the market. Okay, the LED components is a parallel for 12-volt.
Yeah, 12 volt, 12 volt. Yeah.
But it's a data chain for 24 volt. So you guys have to think about that risk, okay? Especially in a bar. If one LED in the modules is dimming, you won't see that. If one module dead, because right now, every module is spacing pretty further.
Yeah, it's pretty far apart.
You will see a big dot spot there. So you have to consider about that possibility.
Yeah, so
about 9
inches say that
apart,
in English, if one of the two go out, they both go out, and especially when you're doing a straight run or something like that, you will see that whole module go out. Where a 12-volt, if one goes out, the other one's still lit, you're not going to see the gap that you will. And to top it all off, now we're stretching them to more or less modules per foot than we ever had before, because some people are selling off total feet. How many total feet can you run? Well, I can run 400 total feet, but their modules are going to be every 10 feet.
It's 2 modules.
So like we've all been in on those questions. Like, well, how many feet does it run? Like,
no, exactly.
Well, I mean, I can make it run as long as you want. I'll splice that wire all day long if you want.
Yeah.
If you need it to run 80 feet, I'll get it to run 80 feet. But like, is it efficient? No. Is it going to be bright? No. Is it going to look like it's a different brand? Yes.
Right.
So...
Yeah, I think with the lensing technology and LEDs finally getting brighter and brighter, people are spacing them out more. I think Sky definitely has a valid point. Like, with our 12-volt system, if one LED dies, the other one can still operate. Yeah. But on a 24-volt module, that whole module is one single circuit. So when that dies, that whole module's out. So you'll have like basically a foot of sign that could be out. Whereas with, the 12-volt module, it has basically 2 circuits in there. So it's like redundant. Like if one dies, there's still one that can back it up. So, I mean, that's an interesting point. I never thought about that.
Yeah. The other thing with that you may not realize with LEDs is if one of those diodes go out on a two, you may not even see it, to be honest with you. Like if you don't realize how bright those LEDs are until you have one burn out and realize you can't even tell from looking at the face. And it goes the same the other way, right? Like there's a point where someone's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put as many LEDs in there. We just did this with a flex face sign, and they're like, we need it to be as bright as possible. We're like, okay, take it out of the bag. Don't even snap them apart, right? We literally just unfolded the two, lay it down, and put them in there, I bet it looked the same as if we had put 5 modules in there. Like, it did not get any brighter at the face, right? Like, at some point, it's just like, this is as bright as it gets. There's nothing you can do there. And that's just how good the technology's got, right? Like, where there's a min and a max, and the min is a lot lower than we think it is. Like, we don't need nearly as many modules as we think we do. And also putting, a module every half inch also isn't going to necessarily win either. So,
and the funny thing is just like how our eyes work too. I mean, our eyes, we try to find contrast and things like that, but also we try to even things out so that we can, kind of see certain areas the same as and different as others. So even if there's a slight dimming in one area, like you could take a light meter to a light box, right? Put it in the middle, put it in the corner. Yeah. In your eyes, it probably looks very, very even. But when you use that light meter, you can see they're probably like 400 lux or, 400 lux apart in terms of brightness. But our eyes make it look very even.
Yeah. So, I just think that's interesting. In terms of the, if somebody is looking at the 24 volt, they're already familiar with the 12 volt. How does it compare in whiteness, brightness, watts?
Basically the same.
Yeah.
Basically it's the same. I will put it this way.
It's not much difference.
They use the same chips, right, Sky?
The same. If I made a module for 12 volt and 24 volt, okay, with 2 diodes, I will say I will use the same chips. Okay, again, I will using either parallel or digital, right? Technology, whatever design, and then the efficiency will be the same. The brightness will be identical to each other, so it won't be a big change. That is what I'm saying. But however, if I add another LED there, like maybe 3 LEDs, the efficiency will be higher. Okay,
and that's something we don't talk about enough. People don't talk about enough. Like, okay, well, they're 1.2 watts, but how many lumens per watt are you actually putting out? Yeah. And a lot of people don't put it on their sheet at all because it's terrible. Yeah. Like it's not a stat they want to advertise.
Yeah. You'll see a video from us at some point of our 0.8 watt module against a module that's technically speaking higher wattage, but the lumens is actually lower at face value.
Yep.
And so they're terrible. The reason they're pushing the watt number is because they're hoping you'll make the jump from, it's higher watts means it's going to be higher lumens, but they're not telling you that that's actually not the case.
The efficiency is
very
terrible,
low.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And and I don't think anyone talks about that. But yeah, when you sent us the samples of the 24 volt, we put it in a box next to the 12 volts, and you couldn't tell what side was what on the face. They looked literally identical side by side. So if you have done already a sign in 12 volt and say they're adding another one on the side of their building or next to it, and they're going 24 volt for that one for whatever reason, they're going to look the same when you put them side by side. So I wouldn't be nervous about that at all, which is, we can't say that.
We can't say that about some of the other ones competition. Yeah. They're 24 volt and they're 12 volt. They don't even, they don't even look the same when you're coming out of the box, but like you put them next to each other and they both look gray, but they don't look at all close to each other, not even remotely close to each other. So it's just, like I said, we're doing it the way the sign companies expect us to do it. We're not just putting out a product that says, now go sell it. Like, okay, what do you guys want? Okay, we want the colors matching. We want this brightness. We want this particular color. Like, okay, let's make what the customers want. Let's not just make, hey, this is the easiest for me to make, or this company says, hey, they can make this, and then, okay, you guys go sell it.
Not even easiest. Cheapest.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, it's the cheapest. Hey, we got this cheap one coming. Now you guys go sell it. I'm like, but it's way grayer than the last one you put out. Yeah, but it's going to be cheap. Let's go sell it. And where I think G2G is the opposite, where we're like, okay, let's talk about this.
Yep.
And we're not going to say what we have coming, but we do have a new stick coming that will change the industry.
Absolutely.
Because we've all talked about it, right? We've all like, this is what they need. This is what they want. Let's make what they need and want. Let's not just make something and go like, okay, go sell it. Go stock it on your truck.
Right.
Like that's foolish to do it that way. But our industry, or the LED industry, has typically done that across the board. We're like, this is the easiest for us to make. You guys go sell it. And where we're like, what do you actually want? Okay,
Right.
let's make what you want. Sky can control the factory. Let's make exactly what you guys want, and it'll be a lot easier to sell and a lot easier to stock. A lot easier. Like there's a lot of good coming from doing it the opposite way the industry's been doing it.
No, absolutely. And one of the things that's been great for me working with G2G is, Sky is very quick to listen to customers. I mean, I've seen him at ISA shows, just pulling out a piece of paper and taking notes from a customer saying, if you just made these little changes, it would just make our lives so much easier. And I think when customers see that stick product come out, they're going to see how much time was spent, the mindfulness of creating that product. We didn't just take an aluminum bar and just stick modules to it and say, here you go, go throw it in the sign. But there's been a lot of thought behind, what is the customer doing? How is the customer executing their projects? How can we save labor? How can we, make this system smart? Right. So I think with a lot of the products, you can find that with G2G. I think with the United product, we spent a lot of time, nearly a year, just talking about the goals that we wanted to hit when it came to how that product came to market, right? The color wise, the efficiency, what kind of watt level we wanted to be at. How did we want to load power supplies? How did we package the bags? What did the bag look like? Right.
Yep. Remember the bag?
Yeah.
If people that don't know,
This guy was smiling. He already knew what you were going to say.
The back
So,
like 4 or 5 times, right?
we'll have him say it so you guys can understand what he had to say. But so he brought us, I said, I wanted black and white. Like I wanted very okay, let's get it black and white. And Sky brought it to us. And then
At the show. Yeah.
at the show, and we're like, Sky, we wanted matte black. What'd you say? He said, oh, no shiny?
No shiny.
We're like, yes, Sky, no shiny.
Yeah, no shiny bag.
We want it matte black.
that was the joke. As soon as the bag showed up, we're like, oh, yes, there's no shiny on these ones. Yeah.
So
they were perfect.
But yeah, even to the design of the bag and what they look like, the logo, like all that stuff's like been very well thought out and very well, like not just rushing it to market.
Yeah. And
Right.
it's
Like
and
we've taken our time.
Yeah, and it's not like we tried to reinvent the wheel, right? We're like, oh, we're going to come out with this product that nobody's ever seen. It literally was just like, hey, let's take all the feedback and all of the current things that are already in the industry, and we know like, hey, these are the 4 things that seem to work very well across everything that's out there. And then let's make sure we make the best possible version of that we can. And that's what I feel like you guys have been doing. And then that's what I think
Absolutely.
the United was.
Okay, so talking about this, I know the people that are going to thank us for this great new product we got. We haven't even talked to them about Manny and Lauren. But
Yep.
Manny had a question for you, Sky.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Can you say 3:00 just for Manny? Think about it and say it right.
Okay. 3 o'clock.
Manny, that's for you. I had a bunch of other words. Like when he asked for questions on the podcast, I gave him a whole list of words that I know he struggles with, and I was going to have him say it, but that's the only one we'll have him say today. So he's like, I ain't saying those. Like, yeah, I got a whole list of words I know you can't say.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Manny and Lauren.
HR
I know y'all
department,
listening.
where are you? HR department.
Yeah, HR department. We don't have one here. We don't care about HR.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm the HR nightmare.
Yeah, no kidding.
So anyways, yeah.
I made a joke about that on like the last episode. Was it the last episode?
I don't know.
think so.
It's
Probably
anyways,
the last one that aired.
We were making a joke about that he was keeping the therapists in business. That was his whole goal, about the amount of people he sends to see them every year.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's true. Yeah.
I just have 2 questions. We had more that maybe we'll do another time that we can do this. I think this was super good, just to hear from the manufacturing side, where we only hear about what's on the spec sheet. But that's kind of what I want to ask you about is on the spec sheet. How are you, when you're looking at a spec sheet of an LED, right? Whether it's yours or someone else's, how can you personally tell the difference between like a higher quality LED versus a lower tier LED?
If they, the correct, you're talking about the correct spec sheet or the ones that let people lie on them? Because there's definitely
both.
There's definitely a lot of lies on a lot of spec sheets. I don't know how they get away with it, if there's a thing, but like I mean, we sat through the training and he said, hey, this company is lying on their spec sheet. They bought that company and they kept the same spec sheet.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, a couple things I look for is, number one, like if they're doing different Kelvin colors, are all the lumens the same? Because if it's all the same, they probably only tested one of those and they're using that number for every single one. The other thing I would also look for is there a decimal point, right? If they're using like a round number, right, they're probably just pulling that data from the component itself. But if they're using some kind of decimal point, either to the 10th or the 100th, it's probably a figure that they pulled from their own test. So those are some simple things that I look for. But also, you know, are they talking about their lumen efficacy? Like, is the efficiency of the product? Are they talking about what kind of lensing that they're using? The more information you see there, they probably put more thought into how they built their product. If it's something fairly simple, it's probably an OEM'd, you know, basic run of the mill, put their name on it kind of thing. So.
Okay, my opinion is if you want to buy a car, you do not just looking at the specification sheet, right?
Good analogy.
Drive it, right? We try it, right? We do the comparison. So if you ask me a question, everybody, every brand, they will put different things there. Okay. I cannot comment for, they are telling the truth or lie. Okay. I only do comparison side by side. That's it. I think that speaks, the truth. Let the LD speak the truth by itself. That's all I'm going to say,
Yep.
Guys, before we leave today, I just wanted to ask you one quick question, and that is, what is a pirate's favorite application tape? R tape. R tape is the #1 application tape in the United States, and it comes with an RLA, which is a release liner adhesion, meaning it's going to stick to the liner. Even on cut graphics, if you roll it, it's not going to tunnel, wrinkle, or curl, or anything like that. So if you're looking for the best application tape for cut graphics out there, R tape RLA is for you, and you can get it at Wensco.com.
We could probably wrap this up, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have to get to the rest of them. There's a lot more that we can add, but yeah, I mean, Sky, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. I know this, it's not the easiest one to listen to, but in terms of the value that I think you bring is huge. I mean, the reason we're selling G2G in the first place is you, right? Like Doug, you can take some credit too. I'll give you some.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
We sold them before Doug.
Yeah.
And we had the other guy too that helped sell.
No. Nope.
I appreciate the opportunity here, and I'm glad to be here. Next time, if you invite me here, and I probably bring a translator here. Easy for you guys.
So for me, I want to help wrap it. So to wrap it up, like we've done a fair amount of things across our industry in different markets where people have stole our ideas. Really, like and it's flattering, right? Like, okay, we did, even when 3M has taken some of our stuff that we've done, and then other people have taken what we've done. But I'm going to tell you, when we do the sticks, I'm going to say it right now, people are going to copy what we're going to do. Without a doubt, across the industry, we will change the stick industry. So I'm going to call it right now before it even comes out that everybody's going to copy what we do.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I apply patent for that. So we already have 20 patents for everything. So
we never mentioned that. How many patents do you have?
20.
20? So
just only in the States, right?
It's in the States.
One of the questions we didn't get to.
Yeah. So yeah, people will try to copy exactly what we're going to do. We come out with something that nobody else is doing, and they'll try to copy us but it's what happens. But we want to be the first to say
what happens when you have a good idea, right?
We are going to change the industry when it comes to retrofit sticks, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
And if you are interested in the sticks when they come out and we're not in your area, we'll either find someone that can get them to you or we'll ship them to you. And there's some cities we would really love to ship them to. I'm not going to mention any specific cities.
There's a lot of free shipping cities. So if you contact us, if you're in some of those cities and you contact us about any products, we have some free shipping cities.
Some zip codes close to other locations. That
Not for samples, though.
Yeah.
Samples are charged.
If you need samples from Sky, please don't order from us because he will charge me shipping.
Yeah, Sky is going to bill you some serious shipping and handling on those.
Like, did you see the picture of my fridge? We could have Rick put it up. My fridge is empty because I've been paying shipping. Like literally, you look at my fridge. I have like, my freezer had corn dogs in it and some beans, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like 2 corn dogs and beans because I couldn't afford it because
it's your 2 favorite
shipping.
food groups. So
we were supposed to mention MacTech. We never did.
Oh, MacTech, thank you again. How many Yetis has MacTech sent us now? I think this is the 3rd version.
They know I'm a Yeti fan.
Stronger Together on the back.
That's a nice Yeti.
They didn't send it to us. You had to pick it up though.
Luckily,
you didn't have to pay for it.
Please don't send me a Yeti because I don't want to pay the shipping.
Yeah.
Too expensive. Too expensive.
All right, we can wrap it up.
So, thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. Hopefully you guys found this super valuable. And thanks, Sky and Doug. Appreciate you guys coming out. And we'll see you in the next episode. So,
Thank you, buddies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.